Holy smoke. This could not have gone worse for the Lakers under any circumstances. This was going to be the game, right? They had this great march, right? That man, Luka Dončić, played so well going up against SGA. Well, first quarter, this is what the entire first quarter looked like. The Lakers missing, and then SGA, watch this move. Look at this move. Leaving Austin Reeves standing still. Thunder by 11. Shortly after that, LeBron, we got another turnover. We're going the other way. The Thunder had 14 points off turnovers in the first quarter. This is Lou Dort knocking down a three. Thunder by 16. Now, here's where it gets much, much worse. We're in the second quarter, late in the half, and just look at Luka. Forget about the play. Look at Luka grabbing the hamstring, hobbling up and down the floor. Look at him again. Get him out of there. Get him out of the game. There's 20 seconds left in the half. SGA, by the way, in this sequence is going to make a free throw to extend the lead to 35 points. It's a 31-point game at halftime. And in the third quarter, Luka is still out there. Inexplicably and perhaps inexcusably, look what happens. So easy to see coming. 4.5 minutes into the third, Luka goes down. It's a left hamstring. He would not get up. He would not return. He looked in a lot of pain. This looked bad. You'll hear from J.J. Redick and our take on it in a moment. In the meantime, the game would just continue. SGA would score 28. The Thunder would wind up winning it 139-96. So a statement on one side. But the statements we really wanted to hear were from J.J. Redick after the game.
JJ, what's the situation with Luka's hamstring?
We'll do an MRI tomorrow, left hamstring. We'll know more tomorrow.
Is there a thought that it's maybe not worth it to play him tonight, considering you guys are 2 weeks away?
Yeah, I mean, it was discussed at halftime. Thought we'd give those guys about 6 minutes, and then we were going to, if we didn't cut into the lead, we were going to pull them. And obviously it was around that time that I don't remember the exact time, but that happened.
The exact time was 7:39 remaining in the third quarter. So roughly 4.5 minutes into the second half in a game that was hopelessly out of control. And Luka gets hurt, and it really looked bad. Tim McMahon, I'll start with you. What's your initial reaction?
I mean, this is, as you said, injury, forget to insult, to embarrassment. They were humiliated, and now Luka's hurt, complete disaster for the Lakers. It puts his All-NBA status probably up in smoke. Forget about the MVP. That was done by the end of the first quarter. The Lakers looked like absolute pretenders, but you don't want to overreact to even a blowout loss in the regular season. To have their superstar go down, though, we don't know the severity, but even in the best case, the start of the playoffs at least is in jeopardy for Luka, and this could not have gone worse for the Lakers.
Parenthetically, Luka has played in 64 games this year. We're all aware of the 65-game threshold. They have 5 games remaining. We'll see just how bad this injury is, and we'll talk a little more about that side of the story a little later. But Jay Will, I mean, you're an athlete all your life. What to your eye, I always say, if you're hurt, ask a doctor. If you can't find a doctor, ask a professional athlete. They know these things better than anybody. You saw that. What did it look like to you with Luka there?
It's a soft tissue injury, Greeny. I'm torn with something like this. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback when you're not in the huddle or you're not in the locker room with the coaching staff, with the medical staff. And the only thing I'll push back on all these accusations that is JJ to blame for Luka's injury is what the hell do we play this season for? Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, our players soft, our players playing through injury. And I know that you can say, hey, the playoffs are 2 weeks away, but at the same time, you're playing for that third spot. You're playing not to play OKC, so you're playing to actually have Denver not get on your ass. So at some point, you got to play. And I'm sure that Luka, with the staff, with the coach, were able to sit down and talk about sometimes in games like this, Greeny, even if you're getting smacked by 35 points, you play those first 6 minutes of the third quarter, you cut into the lead, all of a sudden there's a ball game going on in the fourth quarter. So I get it. But for me, this is why you play the game to come down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs.
I'll buy it. So then, Tim, let me come to you then. And Jay, jump in if you know differently or know more. Give me all the people who have to sign off on him playing. It's what JJ says. Our game plan, the coach can decide, all right, we're going to leave our starters in there for the first 6 minutes and see if we make it a game. But he doesn't decide that until some other person or people tell him, yes, it's okay to send Luka back out there. Who are those people, Tim?
Right, that's why I have a hard time blaming J.J. Redick. He is not making medical decisions. The Lakers have a medical staff. They have athletic trainers. They've got a doctor. Luka has his own body team that travels with him on a full-time basis. Multiple people, including a physiotherapist. So this is Luka's body team working in consultation with the Lakers medical and training staff, and that's who clears him to play and tells J.J. that he's available. And then, Luka's part of the conversations, but given the circumstances, they were getting blown out. They were down 30-something at the half. He clearly was grabbing at his hamstring. Now we'll see if he's available once the playoffs roll around. This is absolutely fair to second guess this situation.
Yeah, it second guess is one thing, and I understand both sides of it. Jay, I don't see it the same way you see it, but I understand the logic of the way you see it. So we'll see what winds up happening with him. Now, Oklahoma City, Jay, just give me a quick take on that. Now, buried beneath the injury here to Luka is OKC, even before he got hurt. A 30-point smackdown on the Lakers. What did they show, Jay Will, last night, this Thunder team heading into the playoffs?
They're just who they are defensively, Greeny. The first quarter, literally, they blitzed the Lakers just by ball pressure. That's always been a conversation around the Lakers with Austin Reeves and some of their ball handlers. I think Austin Reeves had 4 turnovers in the first quarter. It's due to ball pressure, them getting out of transition, and how dominant they are. Everybody will talk about SGA and obviously his upside offensively, but it's the overall versatility of this team defensively with their guards and their length that make them a formidable character to obviously win another NBA championship.
We led with this. The Thunder obliterated the Lakers last night, and that wasn't the worst of it for L.A. That's Luka Dončić leaving the game with a left hamstring injury, tweaked it in the first half, then injured it in the third quarter. He'll have an MRI today to determine the extent of the injury. We don't know how bad it is. So how that's going to impact the Lakers' chances in the playoffs is obviously the headline. But there's also this. Luka Dončić has played in 64 games this year. He's leading the league at 33.5 points per game. He has 8 triple-doubles. He needs to play at least 20 minutes in one more game this year to qualify for NBA awards. So in addition to the MVP, in case there's anyone who's watching this who's not aware, if you're going to be on any of the NBA, all NBA teams, first team, second team, third team, any of those postseason awards, which mean a lot, both in the moment for contracts and historical reference, you have to play to the 65-game threshold. And, Tim, you were making the point this morning, and so I'll give it to you to pick it up from there and run, that we are looking at a season in which a lot of the NBA's obvious best players and performances are going to be excluded.
Yeah, this isn't just about Luka Dončić. This is Cade Cunningham, who the Pistons announced last night is going to miss another week at least. He's not going to be eligible. Anthony Edwards had to miss last night's game because he's still dealing with that knee swelling. He's going to be ineligible for awards. There's no way you can watch this NBA season and wonder whether those guys are deserving of being on the All-NBA teams. Luka's leading the league in scoring. Ant's third. Cade Cunningham's been the driving force of a Detroit team that's the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And as J.B. Bickerstaff, the Pistons coach, has said on multiple times, I understand the intent of the rule, but this isn't right. And I do think the NBA has got to look at some sort of exceptions. There are some very specific exceptions written into the rule, but none of those apply to these guys. My suggestion, if a guy has 2,000 minutes played and a significant injury, they should be granted an exception to be eligible for awards and then leave it in the hands of the voters. But again, there's no way you're looking at the ballot and wondering if Luka Dončić is a first-team All-NBA player, wondering if Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards belong, you can argue first-team, second-team, somewhere on those ballots. Now, kind of a cruel twist here. That would have been Luka's 65th game, but he was suspended Monday night because of his 16th technical foul.
So there's that side of it as well. I am so torn because anyone who has ever paid attention to my shows going back to the Mike and Mike days, to me, load management is one of the worst things that has happened in sports in recent years. Players taking all these games off. That's why these rules are in place. And so I support the spirit of the rule completely. And if you're looking for someone to blame, that's who you blame. You blame the players themselves who have turned the regular season, who have made it seem so meaningless to play in all of these games that they put the league in a position where they had to put this rule in the first place. Adam Silver didn't wake up one morning and say, I think I'm just arbitrarily going to create a rule about postseason award eligibility. He had to do it to combat what was and is a significant NBA problem. Now, having said that, we also deal with the reality that, Tim, what you just said, I agree with. This is not what the rule was intended to adjust, to attack. This is not the problem it was trying to solve, and it creates another problem where if we put together all NBA teams that don't include the three names you just mentioned, it's somewhat farcical, right? It looks a little bit ridiculous. So how do you think they handle it? What do you think the league ultimately does here, Tim?
Yeah, it's almost becoming like the NFL's Pro Bowl, where it's like, how many injury, replacements do you need to get to? Is Shedeur Sanders going to be on the All-NBA team? But I think, again, this is something that the league is going to have to discuss. Adam Silver, when he was asked about this recently, was very firm that the rule's having its intended effect, which is eliminating load management. But none of these are load management cases. And the one thing I would push back on is putting load management on the players. Load management, by and large, with few exceptions, those are organizational decisions. So this has put the pressure on organizations to play their stars. But again, how can the league not look at this, especially, this doesn't apply to any of these three specific cases, but there are supermax contract escalators tied to All-NBA. If you're going to mess with guys' money with this, the league's going to have some serious issues.
Yeah, that's an enormous piece of this. Some of these guys have already qualified for their supermaxes and all that, but it would impact younger players. There are betting implications involved in all this as well. Joe, what are they?
The one that everyone's looking at right now is the MVP award with SGA. He was a favorite a week to 2 weeks ago, minus 1,000. Now, you saw the surge with Wemby. You saw the big speech he gave. It was impassioned. The price dropped all the way to minus 360. But then we saw the performance last night, coupled with Wemby sitting out, and now you're up to minus 600. So I don't know if you necessarily want to make that play at the moment, but Tim Bontemps' straw poll recently came out. It's the best data point we've got. Con Knippel to win Offensive Rookie of the Year in the straw poll, runaway winner over Cooper Flagg. They didn't adjust that one as much. That's what I would look at. But as long as this rule is in place, you can monitor these awards markets throughout the course of the season and find great opportunities because of them.